And we'll get going. I'm going to start out with a little science here. I have some assistants for. So it may not surprise you, this may be the first Ignite talk with assistants, it may not surprise you that water conducts electricity. What you might not know is that the more stuff in the water, the more conductive it is. And this is something we can demonstrate with this simple little circuit I have in my hand and some water. Hear that? And tea. Hear how that sounds different? Everybody hear that? All right, thank you. So that the fact that you can, woo, my assistants. So the fact that you can tell the difference between those two tones is something you can actually measure. And that's useful. Hydrologists use conductivity to measure dissolved solids in water. And this is useful for rivers and streams. It's part of what you can do to test for water quality. You can't necessarily know what is in the water, but you can know something is in the water, whether it's tea, benign, or maybe something worse than that. The way they do this is with a $600 device like this one that takes conductivity readings, but it stores the data in a proprietary format, so you need proprietary software to get it off. So this guy is Don Blair. Don is at the Center for Civic Media at MIT and with Public Lab. He had an idea that if you took that same little circuit that I just used for the tea and the water and attached it to an Arduino, which is a hobby computer, but you made the Arduino and the whole thing so it fit into the mouth of a standard water bottle, you could make your own DIY conductivity sensor. And so that's what he did. It's called the Riffle. So earlier this year, Don used what's sort of like a Photoshop for circuit boards and made a whole bunch of these conductivity Arduino sensors, ordered them in the mail, and then they came back. And this summer, I was honored to go help him build these riffles, actual circuit boards. These are the size of the parts. That's my finger. That part is in the middle of that spec. Put them on the little board, and then you use this industrial strength hair dryer to solder it all on there, and you end up with the riffle. So this is the riffle. The middle here is the brain. This is the Arduino. This is an SD card slot. Takes a standard SD card, and this whole thing writes the data to the SD card in ASCII text. It's totally open. You can read it with any computer. This whole thing costs $80, not $600, and he's going to try to get it down to $40 with mass production. So we took this, and we added a little feature, which is the board in the middle here, which is a cell phone board. It's called a Phona. The Phona is not designed to fit in the mouth of a water bottle, so we had to upgrade to a Gatorade bottle. That's this right here. And we took 6 of these riffles to Morgantown, West Virginia, where Marianne Reed has her program at the West Virginia University, and she's invited me to help teach a sensor journalism class there. And the students here actually assembled these bottles, figured out how to make them waterproof, and at the top, there's these 2 little screws. Those are the two where the 2 wires go to measure the conductivity. And then they found 3 places in the Monongahela River to deploy these, tied them to cinder blocks, and threw them in the water. And what we ended up with were 3 of them that logged data to the SD card, and 3 of them that actually texted the data live. Now, this is not the right way to do sensor journalism, which is to start with a sensor and go look for a story. Really, you should start with a story and say, oh, a sensor could maybe do that. But we did it in reverse, and that was intentional, and we learned a lot. One thing that we learned is this works. This is the data that we got. This is actual, honest-to-goodness conductivity data from 5 of the bottles. The 6th one never worked. Okay, learned that. And 1 ended up getting stolen. That was fun, too. The students were amazing about this. And what I will say, though, that the take-home for this is that it worked, and that if we had a story, if we were wondering, when is that illegal dumping happening? And we would have seen, every Tuesday at midnight, a spike in conductivity. We could have seen that. We could attach the texting system so that it would alert us when the conductivity went up. And we also learned that journalists can do this. Communities could do this. These are pretty cheap. You could do this, and a community could do it together, and you can do this too, and I'm happy to show you how.